Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. The topic of this 10-minute moan is another SNP scandal, where one of the accused in the branch forum inquiry, but later released without any charge, is now in the middle of another controversy, as it appears he offered £20,000 to his local party, but only if he became the choice for the candidate at next year's Holyrood election. And this goes very much against the rules of the SNP, who claim that potential candidates cannot use any means in offering money to get them their place. But why would that bother Colin Beattie, a man whose credentials have already been in question? So this is the story from the record. A lot of people have covered it. I'm just using them for reference, and I'll give you a wee bit more insight into it at the end. So SNP MSP Colin Beattie is under pressure over cash for votes allegation in election race. Beattie, who was previously investigated as part of Operation Branch Forum, has denied any wrongdoing. The SNP faces serious questions over how its election candidates are selected after a veteran MSP offered to donate £20,000 to his local party. Colin Beattie reportedly pledged the cash last November, but only if he is selected as candidate in the fullness of time. The MSP for Midlothian, North and Musselburgh has denied any wrongdoing and insisted the donation was only to ensure his election campaign was sufficiently funded. One furious local SNP activist has demanded the selection contest is now rerun. Mr. Beattie has made a mockery of this contest and my trust in him has been destroyed, they told the Mail. This bribe is a gross abuse of power, in my opinion, and has sullied the entire process. This should be nullified. In a statement, Beattie said today, before the selection process began, I reassured members if I were the candidate, I would make sure the campaign was sufficiently funded. It's a falsehood to claim that any pledged donation formed part of a selection contest. Beattie was previously investigated as part of the long-running Operation Branch Forum probe into SNP finances. He was told by prosecutors early this year he would not face any criminal charges. Nicola Sturgeon was also cleared of any wrongdoings as part of the same investigation. Her estranged husband, Peter Morell, a former SNP chief executive, was subsequently charged with embezzlement. Jackie Baillie, Scottish Labour deputy leader, said, "This will raise serious questions about the SNP selection process and what promises were made by Colin Beattie as part of the decision to nominate him as a party's candidate for Holyrood election next year. Colin Beattie must come clean about what promises he made to his local party branch in full interests of transparency. Otherwise, people will have grave concerns about the process which led him to being chosen to stand for re-election. It's also incumbent of John Swinney and the SNP new chief executive, Callum McCaig, to investigate any allegations of impropriety in order to give party members the confidence they need that selections are fair and free from any undue influences." Rachel Hamilton, Scottish Conservative deputy leader, said if these allegations are true, Colin Beattie's position is completely untenable. He must immediately explain what happened during his attempts to be reselected for this seat and release all relevant correspondence. If there's any suggestions that he attempted to offer improper inducements to secure the candidacy, it would be a huge scandal, requiring at very least his immediate withdrawal as a candidate. Behind me is Glasgow Sheriff Court, one of Europe's busiest courts. And because of that fact, we'll see every week several members of the public and podcasters, etc., facing trials in here for a number of things. However, an increasing number are for posts on social media, videos on YouTube, etc., etc., etc. And for that reason and that reason alone, I believe it would make sense for everybody who does podcasts as a minimum to join the Free Speech Union, because they will help protect you when the law turns on you. That doesn't give you carte blanche to say what you want as a member, but it does give you the protection to help you when the law goes wrong. This is not now only something that should be considered by podcasters, because we're seeing more and more people each day arrested. Normal people who don't even see themselves as civilian journalists, arrested for posts on social media. So it makes sense to join the Free Speech Union, because we live in this country in 2025. So what's he done? Well, apparently he has said that he would get £20,000. They were discussing how much it would cost to win the seat in terms of money for campaign literature, things like that. And they said it would be between £20,000 and £25,000, at which point, apparently alleged, Colin Beattie said, well, if I am the successful candidate, I will get that, or words to those effects. So what he was basically saying was, if I get elected to be the candidate, I'll make sure I get the money. And he says there wasn't inducement. Make your own mind up. What it quite clearly means is if he's not the candidate, they might not get the money. So promising money on the basis that you're the candidate sounds very much guilty as charged. And this is just another example of how the SNP operate. They seem to have a them and us policy, not only in politics when they get into government, but even at party level, where there's some in the groovy gang and some not in the groovy gang. And if you're in the groovy gang, you get to do whatever the hell you want. If you're not in the groovy gang, you're held accountable, probably at every single turn. And it surprises me that we've got so little care about this in society. When you think this is a party that for 18 years now have had the power in Parliament in Scotland, and this is how they act. This isn't new. This isn't unusual. This isn't unique. This is the norm. In fact, those who have been avid watchers of the channel will remember my only interest in politics came from an SNP MP who was our cabinet minister, Michael Matheson, who took or claimed £11,000 for a phone bill, which was racked up while he was on holiday with his family at Christmas, New Year time in Morocco. Came home round about the February, March, claimed that money, got paid to pay that bill off, took that money out of the public purse, and it wasn't until November the next year that he realised I shouldn't have paid that when he got caught. And then he said, I'll pay it back. If he didn't get caught, we'd never have paid it back. And people tried to defend him by saying, well, he paid it back, didn't he? Well, I'm really sorry, but housebreakers don't become not housebreakers if they give back the stuff they stole out of a house. You don't suddenly become innocent simply because you paid it back. But that's the kind of ethos of this party. And I think come May 2026, it'll be a good time for the Scottish people to say, enough's enough. Cherry by now. If you want others to see this video, click a thumbs up, put your comments below and hit share. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing. And even if you think you're subscribed, just double check below that you still are subscribed, because there's a lot of people who became unsubscribed recently. But more important than all of that, unless you're the type of person that's in the type of party that thinks stuff like this is acceptable, then not you. But everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio bye now.